Continuing our chat now with Minister Shimmin, and we're not moving off the Sefton for a while by the looks of it. The Sleepwell Group, what do you take to their views? That you have really distorted the market. They were interested in buying parts of it, and Alf Cannon's also said the same thing, basically, that free market should have been allowed to take place on this occasion, and you're just propping up one part of the businesses and leaving everybody else in the same situation as before, that they can flounder, but the Sefton Group's okay.
And I can understand it. I mean, Sleepwell Group and the whole Jim Mellon approach on the Isle of Man is vitally important. The number of jobs they've created, the things they've done for tourism, I'm a big fan of Sleepwell.
Well, that was a stinging press release, wasn't it? I mean, and I believe that would be...
And I understand, and just like the Sefton, Sleepwell and all businesses have a responsibility to try and protect their interests. And it would have been quite normal and quite appropriate if government had chosen to do nothing and let the market forces take place.
Well, they've invested millions of pounds, they say, into their hotels, and they see that you're just giving the Sefton Group this money. I mean, this isn't fair, is it?
The arguments that I've used before are trying to put across that government has a responsibility to the people of the Isle of Man. We have done what we believe to be in the best interests of the taxpayer, but also of the economy of the Isle of Man. So we will continue to work with Sleepwell and others to try and see how we can maintain and grow our economy. But the established sectors that are so important to us, that create the jobs for the people that we have on the Isle of Man, are ones that we've got to fight hard and do things somewhat differently than we might have done in the past. The argument that Sleepwell put forward is one I can fully understand, and Mr Cannon and everybody else. We could have taken that action. We believe in the better interest of the Isle of Man, we took a decision that was right.
I don't think anyone is questioning your sincerity on this.
I think lots of people are questioning our sincerity and the integrity and are maligning the Chief Minister, Mr Tier, myself and others, as if there's some sort of agenda and conspiracy here. We know it was a difficult decision. We know that it is one that has caused a reaction. However, we are looking to a level of support from the business community and the public to say this is about jobs and people's futures.
I was going to say, to finish this, was you're obviously very, very committed to this decision, but if, I mean, it's going to go to review now to the Economics Committee. If they say that it wasn't a good idea, would you resign over it?
What I have always said behind closed doors, and I'll say to you now on air, as far as I'm concerned, this is a risk. If this package that has been put together by a number of parties is not successful, and ultimately the Sefton Group were not to survive through these times, then I think there would be an expectation of accountability at a political level. And if that were the case, or indeed if the Economic Committee found that it had been inappropriate or we didn't have the values to do it, I'm saying here now, yes, of course I would resign. But it is a difficult decision. And unfortunately, the public want us to make difficult decisions, but if they don't like it, they then are throwing eggs from the sidelines. And I really do think that we've got to understand that in difficult times, decisions that might not appear to be in the best interests, actually in the medium and long term, will be proven to be the best. And I don't expect any plaudits for Mr Tier, Bell or myself, but if the Sefton Group grows from strength to strength over the years ahead, and that we have a development to be proud of down in the centre of Douglas, all of that would have been sacrificed if we had followed the line that some of my political colleagues were wishing for.
It's still an ongoing story, but with the hindsight you could now, even for the last couple of weeks, do you think it was handled correctly? I
think if we had chickened out from making a difficult decision, then shame on us. And I would not have been party to something which had been done for political reasons. This was the politically most challenging decision that we and Council Ministers took. If you want an easy option, that would have been to step away, do nothing and allow it to flounder. I'm sorry, but we can't afford that. We're talking about people's lives and the safeguards for the taxpayers' money, and indeed the economy of the Isle of Man is too important to play politics with.
You talk about taxpayers' money. I mean, again, back to the thing that the Sefton weren't up to date with paying what? ITIP, NIC, VAT. Where are we with that? Because you've lent money to a company that you wouldn't maybe have lent it to?
No, again, when you've got politicians and the public who are so concentrating on process, it's got to be about the outcome. Now, we can't break the law. We can only lend monies or give grants to those companies that are in compliance with the law. But that is when we actually come to give the money over. And if we had to have all of these checks and balances in place all the way through, nobody would come to government for support. because the bureaucracy in the process is already hard enough. And I really do think that those who are clutching at the straws to find something wrong with this deal are doing so to score points politically rather than to actually understand the outcome. If we can start believing that the outcome is the most important thing and the process has got to be legal and fair, but actually gives us the outcome we want, that to me is where the culture change in government and in Parliament needs to come forward. If we're not prepared to actually do what is necessary to protect jobs, then I don't understand why we're in politics.
Are you happy with the way you handled it?
I am not surprised, because when you've got a judgment call which is so close to the 50-50 scale, we could have gone either way. I am convinced that we have done the right thing for the Isle of Man. I am convinced that those who were involved in making the decisions with all the information did so without fear or favour, and they took a bold decision. Am I surprised? No. Whatever decision we had taken, I think it would have exposed us to criticism, and I think I have to sleep at night saying we did the right thing.